hello and fuck cape shit. Fuck. Fuck.
Fuck cape shit.
Fuck. Cape shit. Welcome to another episode of Shittywebcomics Weekly, brought to you by our Subscribe Star backers. Check out our Subscribe Star below for all the reasons in all the previous episodes we've gone over for like hours and hours, usually longer than the entire episode. We've gone over all the reasons why you should be backing us on Subscribe Star, because we tell you everything that nobody else wants to tell you and nobody else has the balls to tell you. As they say, find out about it from Shitty Webcomics now or Kiwi Farms in a few years. So if you want to be ahead of the curve,
if ever at all,
yes, or Kiwi Farms never sometimes. So yeah, if you want to really know what's actually happening in the world, donate money, become a pig on our Subscribe Star. Today's episode, to just jump to fucking not spend another 10 straight minutes talking about how great we are. I mean, all that's very justified, of course, but instead I think we will just go into the actual comic we want to look at. I think Nope Full posted this as a... Because people were on our Discord going around... there's been, a lot of talk of stupid Cape Cucks in their failed communities and movements that have been imploding and blowing up in their face. And, the clips of Rethan Van Kryberg going around... saying that he hates manga, he hates Japan, he hates comics. Oops. Did he say he hates comics? Japanese comics, he meant. Oh, okay.
Even though he also did admit to not liking making... He didn't want to make comics.
Yeah, he said he was about to quit before Comicsgate, which I'm sure that was just a narrative of like, oh, I was so disillusioned. And it's like, you're working for DC.
Well, let's also look at the simple fact is here. He has his opportunity to make the comics he wants, and he only makes one in 5 years.
Yeah, that goes to show how much passion he really has.
Comic in the last 5 years.
He likes collecting money for them. He runs campaign after campaign for comics that he still hasn't even started.
He loves getting super chats.
He loves his super berries.
That's probably his real passion, is getting paid to make extremely lukewarm statements or lies. Just straight up lying to people and having stupid idiots pay him to believe him.
And also having very suspicious behavior. He'll use that money that he gets in super chats to pay mentally ill people to false flag other channels that tell the truth. Very suspicious behavior. Why people support that maybe goes to show that people don't exist. Perhaps even, as you had pointed out, people equals shit, of course, a reference to the wonderful classic Richard Cheese song.
Cucks equal shit.
Yes. So people were...
The classic Richard Cheese song.
Yes.
By Richard Cheese.
My favorite Richard Cheese... Well, my fucking 8th favorite Richard Cheese song, I guess. I don't fucking know. But people started posting a bunch of links to other comics, from other countries. It wasn't just manga, because that's the thing. That's what gets most of the attention is manga, and that's what the statements were about and that kind of stuff. As manga, they were actually saying that's how they talked when they were. Those aren't even words.
Why would they speak in this manner?
Are they perhaps genetically low IQ?
Let's make sure everyone's clear on this. They hate manga because it's not just a competition, but it's beating them.
They lost. It's
their only tactic for defeating manga is manga's not any good.
Alex Jones did.
That's going to stop people from buying it.
Alex Jones did a listicle of the top 8 things that manga has done to American comics and to Cape Shit fans. In order of 1 to 8, listed fairly quickly. I don't think we can play that video, but anyways.
I don't think we'll be able to play that video.
Tragically. Very tragic. So tragic. It's tragic, the garnering. Anyways. So, People were mentioning though, there's Korean manhwa, that kind of shit, and
Sounds like an insulting form of just mispronouncing manga on purpose.
yeah, what's
They
wrong?
hate Japan so much.
Why are they so disrespectful? That's wrong of them. Personally,
Very disrespectful,
I'm
being very
judging them.
disrespectful of the beautiful classic Japanese culture.
Brutiful, if you will.
Beautiful.
As an example of, I think, a Chinese comic that is, you
I think
know,
it's Korean. It's Korean, but it's like set in China or some
yeah,
shit.
this does not look necessarily Chinese from what I can tell. It's like, I'm surprised China is like, oh, you can actually draw things in
China.
China without just getting your fucking, the bottoms of your feet slammed with bamboo shoots or some shit like that. I don't know.
Lived in a bamboo cupboard or some shit.
But this one is it's called Space China Dress, and the first page actually, right off the bat, a great start. It shows the planet Space Shaolin, which takes place, I guess, on a planet, and it has a wonderful. It seems to have a wonderful message about the geography of this planet. There are distinct aspects of the geography that clearly make this planet better than other planets. It has a
Maybe,
wonderful.
maybe it would place them over certain other
Yeah,
geographies.
are the people of this planet perhaps over in physical and perhaps metaphorical senses? They are
Maybe,
over other people.
maybe even cultural, maybe even genetic.
Militarily, culturally, they were all 10 years ahead, 100 years ahead. What was it that Ducat said about the Bajorans? That the
Just the,
Cardassians,
the Kardashians
militarily,
were,
culturally. Um,
yeah, just in every way. Holy shit, the Cardassians are so much more advanced.
but there's all these bowling ball holes on the planet, and in the, I don't know if these are moons or other planets around in the fucking solar system.
Bowling ball holes.
They're clearly bowling balls. It's
People love bowling.
the fucking, and I'm sure that they eat a lot of hot dogs on these planets. I sure love these jelly filled hot dogs, whatever they are.
Jelly donuts. They
Jelly.
are hamburgers.
They are. He punches the guy into space because he said they were jelly filled donuts instead of hamburgers. He said they were hot dogs, but whatever. Anyway, it was a reference to fucking Girl China Paradise, which
My
is,
favorite anime ever of all time.
yes, Girl.
Girl Chain in
Well,
Paradise.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, but then second favorite is House MD, and then third favorite is maybe Girl Chain in Paradise. But anyways, but there's a Buddhist peace symbol just as a giant landmass on this planet. I think that's pretty cool. It
It
shows that there's
fills me
good
with
peace
peace.
here.
It fills me with peace just to look upon it.
Just looking at it, wonderful, charming. And yeah, I think it was Nopeful who recommended this comic because um, he said it had a lot of fan service. It's like, okay, sold, but it doesn't really have a lot of fan service necessarily. But scrolling down,
In fact,
scrolling,
I could make some complaints. The fan service is all right.
it's for fan service, like when you expect fan service. Then again, it has other parts of fan service that I like. We'll get into that. It might take to the next episode for us to actually get into that. One thing I do like, I like the style of the art, of course, because natural. It's got these good, interesting perspectives. The top down, the sort of isometric view perspective is always, it's sort of video game reminiscent. I like that, but I also really like this. It shows where the little restaurant house that our heroine protagonist lives in is just a tiny, tiny house that's like in the shadow of a giant wall pillar that's on the stairs going up to fucking Lao Quin Win or Kunlun headquarters, which Kunlun headquarters it shows is like fucking drones and pipes, and it's very technological, but it's at the base or it's at the top. It's at the top of Mount Kunlun, this giant mountain. So it's a mix of like bizarre futurist technology and then this old fashioned fucking kung fu for a Shaolin monk. Your kung fu's really lousy. Fucking goofy old fashioned classic kung fu movie kind of shit. And so the protagonist, fucking wall-eyed, noseless animu freak protagonist, um, and it says she lives here. And I didn't notice this for like the first several chapters, but her hair buns are kept in place with a nail driven through a tuna fish can. Just a tuna fish can with no top or bottom, apparently. And just fucking, it's there to keep her hair buns in place. And so it starts off really cartoony. And there's stuff we've mentioned about this sort of arc with manga and anime and that kind of stuff, with like, especially with stuff like Dragon Ball, of course, but My Hero Academia is another example, and a lot of these that start off like completely bonkers, goofy, intentionally, sort of fourth wall breaking, like, oh, you're the villain, huh? Well, I guess we should punch each other, stuff that's very self aware of it's genre aware or something like that. Um, Most of these comics that usually after the first 10, 15, maybe 20, maybe 50 chapters eventually devolve into just straight drama and straight action. Like even One Punch Man did that. But usually that's the thing that sucks you in, is the beginning where it's just goofy. And it depends then on how much you like the main character.
Actually effective. To me, that's the real question. This is clearly a comedy. The question is, how effective is the comedy?
Yeah, one thing I do want to say also, this like the first visual we see of her is very goofy, and like in the following chapters, her style looks a little more refined and the art looks better. This looks like somebody is kind of starting off, um, and they get better as things go. But the art's still pretty good, of course. But it's sort of the structures and the figure art is good, and it's always the face that's extremely simplistic, and it depends on how too simple. The thing is, though, you can tell there's still at least some control of expressionism. Um, and so this chick works in just the most tiniest hole in the wall, almost literally a hole in the wall. Again, it's this tiny, it's backed up, cornered against a mountainside and the fucking side of this gigantic pillar that's bigger than the entire building. But it looks quaint. It looks cozy, if you
It
will.
looks very cozy.
Yes, comfy AF. But
Totally, it's a total dive bar.
so they make food. Mom is really lazy, although she has giant tits. But oh yes, it's kind of funny because right off the bat, the mom just tell him to eat at home. That's what she's recommending the customers of their restaurant do, is just go eat at home. But um, it's fine. Get some mantou and his frozen fried dumplings, and that's what they're making for this place, while the mom is just being a lazy sack of shit. So so the daughter's making food, and it's establishing, oh, dad left and all that kind of stuff, and then guy shows up, and what's going on with this? So there's establishing the world, the setting, but also the personal aspects, and it's doing this over the time span of like 5 pages. In 5 pages, you learn her sort of vaguely comedic, tragic, in giant sneer quotes, backstory. Um, the setting that she's just sort of slapped down in the middle of, the world that she inhabits, and then it's sort of cutting away to go to the overall world. It's like, here, really quick, almost lazy world building, which is easier to do in a comedy, to just be lazy about it, because the quicker you do it, the more comedically plays with sort of funnier inherent timing. Did I fucking hit the space bar? Yeah, okay. But it plays with fucking better comedic timing of the of establishing the story, while also actually establishing the story, and also comedic situations that that can also inherently establish conflict. Like right off the bat, here's some creepy loser asshole jerk who's like, ugh, I don't have any money, and so he's just straight up refusing to pay for food that he ate, and she's like, "Well, you have to pay or work it off." So they're immediately going to fight, and
It's exactly what you would expect in that situation. It's the straw man dummy enemy character set up so that the fucking main character has to show her
yeah, show off her
bona fides,
skills. Now she can prove that
which
she is a
they
fighter.
directly comment on.
Yeah. Uh, I like this big fucking high swing hook kick, but she's still pulling down the fucking front of her skirt. So it's like,
Her signature move.
yeah, closely avoided fan service. Don't worry though, if you do read the whole comics, there's some good upskirt cunt flaps visible. But yeah. So
They're saving it. See, it's being saved up for later.
yeah, they're fucking teasing you with the fan service, which almost is like, is that anti fan service or something? I don't even know. Is such a thing even possible?
Some kind of higher level of fan service.
Yeah,
I mean, that also kind of reminds me of Hellsing.
yeah, that's right. There's an element of that in Hellsing, the wonderful Hellsing, not the anime. Although, I mean, there was one. It's funny. Someone was like, "Oh, Hellsing, check out the new anime," and I watched the first episode, and it's just really boring. It was just dragged out, and then I read the comic, and it's the entire first episode, but just told in 20 pages. It fucking breezes through, and it's like, oh, this is way better. And so I just start reading that, and then all of a sudden, like a few chapters in, there's giant Nazi zeppelins flying over, and it's like, and it's like none of this
Why
even
didn't we start
happens in
here?
the anime.
How come we didn't start here?
Yeah, why come? How come you ain't got a tattoo? But
I was forced to ask them why that.
so the another sort of protagonist. There's something kind of interesting about the other character who shows up after she kicks the guy, and this guy is here. Is like the Kawaii Bishi character, who's like, "Phew, this guy didn't pay. What a loser!" And then he fucking checks, and he realizes he doesn't have his wallet, and he was trying to be respectful though. And it's like, ugh, don't you? He
And
says,
she
"I'm."
immediately flies off the handle over it.
Yeah, she behaves irrationally. She's a fucking woman, but at the same time, it adds a little spice, if you will, to the protagonist. Where, and I think a lot of this, I'm sure, is based
This
on
is another thing. This is
Goku.
something you can't do in America,
Yeah, that's
where
the
you can actually make your female protagonist an imperfect character, actually making her fucking flawed and making mistakes
yeah
and
being
making
kind of
her the
a
butt of jokes.
she can be stupid, and the joke can be at her expense without ruining her. Like the way that American comics do this is it would make her beat up the guy, and the whole point would be like she's justified, he was in the wrong. And instead it's like, no, she's in the wrong here, but it also kind of shows fucking he's like, I definitely had my wallet when I came out. Wrong it, she says as she's jump kicking, and then he just blocks her, and fucking immediately great action scene, well drawn, better drawn than you'll see in any fucking Comicsgate comic. Is that a fair comparison? It should be, because again, Comicsgate acts like they're the masters of comics. Meanwhile, this is just a webcomic, and it's better than everyone. Like the art, and the art isn't even masterfully, perfectly great. It just has a good control of action style, which is what we've been saying for years and years before
I mean,
Comicsgate
again,
ever existed.
also, there's something to appreciate about us being able to read this for free as opposed
Yes.
to Comicsgate, where it's $35
Yeah,
for one
exactly.
issue, maybe two issues, maybe 48 pages.
But we've been saying manga for decades now has been perfecting two things: how to make things visually appealing, cute looking people, and how to make action look the most dynamic it has. And they've done it through two simple things. They've simplified the faces down to the sort of the bare essentials that still works to, you could change one angle of a line and you've created a very specific expression. This is something that we've been pointing out for years and years in all of our videos. Again, going back before Comicsgate ever existed and that kind of shit. The other thing that, and both these are kind of displayed here, where after this guy has caught her leg and is throwing her, you see this giant foreground blur, and it's a very simple effect. It's just a bunch of lines going, just drawn down this way, that creates a motion blur effect in a specific direction. I can't even tell. Is this her leg? Is this fucking just her whole body? What exactly am I looking at? I'm not specifically sure, but I know because of the context of the previous page that it's related to her. Meanwhile, you can see the sort of calm, stoic resolve in the guy's face. That is still a specific expression, not just, you have to know what expressions make what, but when you understand that,
I mean,
it's
that's
simple to
clear.
recreate.
Obvious, as opposed to, like, say, some certain American indie comics where the characters look completely expressionless, especially during action. And it's
Americuck.
like, what the hell's going on
Or
here?
they have a bizarre expression, like they look happy when they're screaming angrily or something. We've seen that. If fucking Cyberfrog 2 is going to come out and have that, and it's going to look hilariously stupid. And Ethan doesn't know that, and he doesn't know how to fix that because his art is just fucking a train wreck. So
Doesn't
there's going to be a
understand.
bunch when Cyberfrog. I can't wait for Cyberfrog 2 to come out because there's going to be all sorts of
I mean,
hilarious
I couldn't
examples of
wait,
it.
because if I couldn't wait for Cyberfrog 2 to come out, man, that would be the most agonizing way
Yes,
to. It's like
it's
waiting for
been
Christmas
years.
times 1,000.
Incredible. But anyways, yeah, so he reverses her and just wonderful. Again, delicious fucking Rihanna of her just face skidding across the floor after he threw her. And
Face first.
and then yeah, and then she fucking slams through a whole table and fucking is destroying half the fucking place. Um, and again, so it's like the guy here who is supposed to be a fucking sort of a master or something. He's like, I thought she'd obviously counter with a forward roll. Instead, she just absorbed that with her face. Does this girl really not know who I am? And so she fucking just charges at him again.
I mean, it's going to show that she's not a master. It's not like she has the most amazing skills for no reason.
Yeah,
It's like,
you can tell she has some skill. Like the whole point is like she's able to because she just beat up the previous guy, but now she's immediately to establish that she's not simply the best. She's not a Mary Sue. She's immediately getting her ass kicked. So, and that's another thing we've been pointing out for
I
years
mean,
and
let's
years
face
and
it. Also,
years.
Mary Sues are not interesting characters
Yes,
by default. If you're making if you're making a story and you make it Mary Sue, you don't care. You don't want to make a comic. You're just lazy
you want
and
to make some kind
untalented.
of pathetic signaling female, like you want to show the world how much you respect the vaginal wompy twat, um, by being like,
If
girls can be
you
the best at
at
anything better
best
than
you don't
anyone.
care. The
But
the highest compliment that can be paid is that you didn't want to make this,
yes,
because the alternative is the most insulting.
you didn't want to make your comic. But the thing is, again, and the perfect counterpoint, and again, this is just full of tropes right here. Still, this is kind of a bog standard formula of the girl who has some talent, but then it's like, here, I will offer you to be trained, and it's like, oh, she's going to get into some hijinks, so there's that. But again, it depends on how many times you've seen it in other things and how much you like it in this specific setting with this specific
Even if
character.
you've seen this before, though, there's always a way to do this kind of thing smarter, or add something new.
Or yeah, with just a new tweak. Like again, this is Journey to the West ish stuff, but instead of Goku or Monkey Kings or whatever, it's a different setting and really kind of different characters.
I don't think that's what this story is. You're confusing this with Secret Journey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. The classic Secret Journey, which is the best version of Journey to the West, of course. This is this clearly has everything. Any action mango is going to have some inspiration from Dragon Ball. Unfortunately, but at the same time, you can always take an inspiration and just take it into a completely new direction, or at least put a different, unique, interesting, fun twist on it. Um, I do like how some of the sound effects now, when she's charging at him, the sound effects are sort of blocking the upskirt, but then she does the super high kick and just such massive upskirt that you can see her ass crack from the front, which is fucking that's some innovation. That's real innovation.
It's very innovative, but it's also that's how you can tell there's some actual joy and
Yes,
passion
some
being put
delight.
into this.
She does have some fucking fat milkers also, but and
She
again
has
the
fat milkers, but her mom is even
fatter,
fatter.
fatter and milkerer, but so she's kicking. It looks like she's actually, she has some good speed and movement. And again, the effect of this blur, this kick coming down like this, the blur effect, and when she punches, it's a more subtle blur effect. That's not just blurring the whole arm, the whole fist, the whole leg, but it's showing a dynamic motion and movement in a way that's better. American comics don't even do that. American comics, even some of the supposed greatest pros, or rather biggest cuckolds, will just draw a static pose, like a pinup of somebody with their leg out, and it's like that's them kicking. And it's like it doesn't. It looks like they just have their leg extended. It doesn't look like any. It doesn't look like a kick. It doesn't look like anything. And this is an example of how correctly, it's not just the manga style, it's the correct way to show motion and dynamic action. And we've been saying all of this for years. Everyone else you've been hearing pointing this out, most people don't on YouTube don't even know to point this out because they don't understand. This is why manga is fucking eating American comics lunch. And and it's just another great example. So there's some more we can say about this, but we'll continue on with the with this on the next part. So make sure to donate to our Subscribe Star. There's tons more huge deep dives and huge comic. There's a bunch of comic reviews that are only on our Subscribe Star that have the this kind of insight that you will not hear anyone else. There's not a single person on YouTube or on the entire internet that has
Believe
this
me,
level
we've
of
been
insight.
looking. We've been trying to find somebody
Yes.
else,
Oh,
and there just isn't.
the best you can find is people who just parrot us and repeat us. If you've been hearing other people saying, "Oh, manga is better than American comics," they either don't know why or they're just repeating what they
I mean,
heard from us.
yeah, they're not worth listening to. Believe me, again, I've discovered that many times. It's like, oh, here's somebody who at least seems to agree with us. Oh, they have nothing to say. That was most especially true with Richard back in the day.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, this guy's saying some of the stuff we've been saying for a while. Oh, he doesn't have anything else to
He
back up.
he
He
was
has
just
no
that was
arguments.
the thing. Yeah, it wasn't just that he was saying stuff that we've been saying for a while. We realized he was just repeating what we had said for a while without understanding what we were saying. He was just parroting the words. So
He was not.
again,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, very much like a parrot. It's
yes.
like you ask a parrot
Yes.
to explain why the cracker is good, why they want a cracker. They will not be able to answer you.
Of course. But anyway, so because of that, you should be donating to our Subscribe Star, but otherwise should have listened to Shitty Webcomics.